Hi, I'm Brian. I'm a master technician here at Wittmeier Auto Center. And part of our used vehicle inspection checklist includes the inspection of the underbody components of the vehicle. And the first step of that is to check the frame and see the condition of the frame of the vehicle to make sure that there's no damage to the frame, that it hasn't had any evidence of it being in an accident, and make sure that the frame is good and straight. While doing the underbody inspection, we'll inspect the fuel delivery system. Make sure that the fuel tank is intact, there's no holes, make sure the fuel lines, any clips that are involved are all there and everything's operational. We'll inspect the drive shaft if the vehicle is equipped with one, along with U-joints and the flanges to make sure that there's no leaks and no excessive play, anything like that in the drive shaft, as well as the exhaust system. We'll inspect the entire exhaust system from engine to tailpipe for any clamps that might be missing or loose, any bolts that might be missing or loose, as well as the mounts, make sure that they're intact, and to check the exhaust system for any aftermarket modifications that may not be emissions approved. And then we'll remove those and restore it back to its factory specifications so that everything's good to go. We'll inspect the operation of the four-wheel drive hubs to make sure that they engage and disengage. We check the operation of them on the road test, but then when we lift the vehicle up, we'll inspect to make sure that the seals and everything are intact, that everything works properly. We'll inspect the suspension components of the vehicle. We'll inspect the lower and upper ball joints. We'll inspect the sway bar links and bushings and the sway bar. Make sure that those are all intact. We'll inspect the operation of the power steering rack, the power steering gear, any tie rod ends that might be included with that, if there's a drag link, anything that's related with the suspension front and rear, springs, shocks, struts, are all very thoroughly inspected. We'll inspect the tie rod end boots, power steering rack, boots, clamps, nuts, make sure that the tie rod ends themselves are free of any play. We'll inspect the condition of the vehicle springs, whether they be coil or leaf springs, front and rear. We inspect the power steering system, including the power steering pump, for operation and any leakage of seals. We'll inspect the transmission and transaxle, whichever it's equipped with, to make sure there's no leaks from the oil pan of the transmission. Make sure that the case is intact, there's no cracks or anything from the transmission case. The lines and fittings are all in good shape. We'll inspect any skid plates that are in place, make sure that they're not bent or dented or deformed. We'll inspect the transfer case if the vehicle is equipped with it to make sure that there's no leaks from any seals or gaskets from the transfer case. Make sure that there's sensors, the wiring, and the motor, shift motor, everything's intact and operational. We'll inspect the transmission mounts to make sure that they're installed properly and not broken. We'll inspect the vehicle's differentials, both front and rear, for any leaks, any performance issues. While on the road test, we'll listen for any noises to see if there's any abnormalities coming from the differentials. But we'll inspect the seals to make sure there's no fluid leaking, make sure that everything is in correct operation for the differentials for the vehicle. We'll inspect the brake system, including the pads and shoes if the vehicle is equipped, the rotors, the brake drums, the calipers and slides, making sure that they move freely, that everything's operational front and rear. If the brake pads are low, we'll replace the brake pads and machine the rotors or replace the rotors if they need to be replaced. We'll also check the lines, the brake hoses, any seals, any gaskets in the brake system to make sure that the brake system is fully intact and fully operational for the safety of the vehicle. We also inspect the parking brake for proper operation and installation, the cables, making sure that they're routed properly, that they're not broken or kinked or anything like that that would cause a malfunction in the parking brake system. We'll inspect all the tires of the vehicle, check their tread, make sure that they're wearing evenly, that the tread is safe. We'll measure that. We'll check the tire pressure Inspect the sidewalls of the tires, make sure there's no sidewall damage, that they're good and safe. We'll inspect the wheels, the condition of the wheels, the center caps. If there's hub caps, we'll check the condition of the hub caps. We'll check the tire pressure, and we'll also inspect the tire pressure monitoring system to ensure that it's working properly for the safe operation of the vehicle. So we'll inspect the brake master cylinder and the brake booster. This vehicle is equipped with a hydro boost system, so it uses hydraulic fluid pressure in order to actuate the brake booster. So we'll inspect that system for any leaks, any seals that might be failing, anything like that. The master cylinder we'll inspect for leaks, any seals that are leaking or sensors, any wiring that goes to it, making sure that everything is working properly. Make sure that the entire system is free of any defects, and make sure that it's all operating properly.